And welcome back to another episode of Over the Glass. I am your host, Ness.
And I am Jay.
We have some exciting Sharks things to talk about today. But I wanted to tell you that you have a really cool flag in your background today. Did you go to the game yesterday?
Do I?
Did you go to the game yesterday?
I went to a game yesterday, but it wasn't the Sharks.
Oh, did you go see VFC?
I did.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. I'll ask you about that later. But were you able to catch anything for what happened?
I mean, outside of missing out on Luca Cagnoni's first point of his NHL career, which I did go back and I watched the highlights and so proud of our short king who, we've already talked about. This league likes to go on about the big boys, and anyone who's under 6 feet is at risk of never making the NHL unless they're super talented these days. And so for us to have Luca Cagnoni in our pipeline and him getting called up, like I was kind of thinking like maybe this would happen at some point during the season. We know with the trade deadline, we pretty much got rid of like a good third of our, if not more, of our starting roster for the season. That pretty much opens the doors for these younger guys who've been cooking at the AHL level. At this point, we're the first team this season to be eliminated from the playoffs. Big surprise. Darn, heartbreak. We were so close. And so, that is not on our, that's not on the menu this season. So it's a great opportunity to bring up these guys, see what they're made of, see what they've worked on. We know that Cagnoni was one of the last to be cut from the training camp before the start of the season. So, and then before that, the stat of, I believe he was the defenseman with the most points or something along those lines in his junior club the season before that, leading that whole league. So there was a lot of great things already that we can tie into Cagnoni coming in and developing. So for him to get called up is exciting from that alone. And then the game that I did get to watch, the first one he was in the lineup, was on Thursday. And I think I watched more of him than I really did about the rest of the team. The rest of the team, we know the Celebrinis, the Smiths, the Eklunds, like they're going to do what they need to do. We don't have to, be so concerned about where they're at this point. But exciting folks like Cagnoni, and then Romanov got to get his start as well. I really liked what I saw from Cagnoni in his first game. He was paired with Desharnais. I think I said that right. And Warsofsky had jokes during the media appearance. Cagnoni being 5'9" and Desharnais being much taller. I think 6'7". So it's like a whole person between them, it feels like. And he's joking, saying that he was just trying to average out their height by putting them together. But as a pairing, they looked good. Cagnoni looked comfortable out there. He was trying a couple things. I thought that, maybe they'll put him on power play 2, get his feet a little. And the next thing you know, we're trying him out on power play 1. And I'm like, let's go.
Absolutely.
Let's freaking go. And as I've made mention to, on Saturday, he got his first point. He pushed over Middlestat on the opposing team. He got him like off the puck, and then he passed it off to, I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, who scored the goal? It was Eklund. I think he passed it to Celebrini, right?
So
Yeah. So, a young guy who's small stature, they're got to find ways to be competitive, to find your place in a league full of giants. And a little bit that I've been able to see in what I saw from the highlight, like he's making sure that he stays in the conversation with this club, because we know there are a lot of jobs to be won here, and Cagnoni wants that opportunity to be a difference maker for the Sharks. And his family was in attendance on Thursday, as well as
yeah.
Romanov's family flew all the way from Russia. So too bad we didn't get the win for those families, but I'm sure it was a very exciting experience all around for them.
Yeah, so both Romanov and Cagnoni had their debuts on Thursday against the Hurricanes. Speaking of giants, Romanov is 6'5". I don't know if you got to see some of the photos that were taken for their solo lap. There was a really cute one of like just behind the net. Romanov was like skating just in front of the camera, so you can see like just the top of his head. And then Cagnoni had shot the puck at the goal, but missed and almost hit Romanov. And
yeah,
so
I did see the photo of that, and
so he's just cheesing real
yeah.
big.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cute. I do agree. I think he looked really well Thursday for the bit of the game that I was able to catch. I was also really impressed by Romanov because I have unfortunately gotten used to a shaky Georgiev, where he lets in some weak goals sometimes. And with this being Romanov's like first NHL game, I wasn't sure what to expect. I hadn't seen how he played with the CUDA or anything, but I was pleasantly surprised. He's looked pretty steady in the net. Also, he's a big dude, so he covers a good chunk of it. But he made some really good stops. I think the Hurricanes are just a really good team that was able to figure him out in the long run. The Sharks also got really lucky multiple times in that game with the weird goal that Eklund scored. And then I think they were able to call one goal off from the Hurricanes. So the score could have been a lot higher for them. But yeah, it was an interesting game with Burns assisting the Sharks scoring their only goal that night.
We need to talk about that goal, because it was a weird goal. Like,
yeah.
Ultimately, it seemed like had he not been tripped, I guess I'm interested to know, is this in the rule book somewhere? Because it seemed, it didn't look like they were trying to figure out like, oh, this has never come up before, what we do. Like, I feel like there maybe is some kind of like print there that the circumstances that lead to that, you automatically get the goal. We know that like there's been situations where if the projection of the puck, just by physics, it would have gone into the net anyway. The whole dislodging of the net that leads to the stoppage of play kind of, it doesn't play a factor in there. But because the momentum of Eklund causes it doesn't affect the puck so much as it affects the goaltender's ability to play the position and things. But I guess the fact that the penalty led to Eklund going into the netminder, it was strange, because when they were reviewing that, I'm like, how does that not end up as goalie interference? Like, it just,
I think it was because he was tripped, and it's like there's nothing he can do about it. He wouldn't have bumped into him otherwise. But
yeah, it was funny that like, thanks, Burns.
For
The
real, it
thing
had to
that
be Burns.
everybody was one of the things when he was here, it's like you always just like, God, Fred
Stay
Burns
on
is
your
doing the
feet.
starfish again. Stop it.
What are you
And
doing?
like, I want to see how often these days, if he does it at all with the Canes. I just know when he was here with us, it was one of those things where it's like, is that effective though?
I think he just
Because
thought it was fun, to be honest with you.
yeah, because I think at the beginning it probably was because it was like unexpected for players to have to deal with like there's a starfish on the ice, have to get around it. But I feel like people can if you're in that sort of odd man rush or you're going up against Burns into the zone, I kind of feel like that's something players anticipate now. Burns is probably going to go down. I'm going to have to dangle around him.
Right. Yeah, that's his signature move. They should just call it the
Yeah.
Burns by now.
Mm-hmm.
The Burn starfish. On Saturday, so yesterday's game, I was able to catch all of it. I was finally able to watch a full game. Is that crazy? And I was very impressed with how these guys are looking, despite us trading away some of our top players this season and us being very sad about some of them. I think the new guys who have been called up and the guys who have stayed put, the young guys, are really stepping up and they're playing some exciting hockey. Um, I want to quote, what was it that Randy said last night? The most exciting last place team you can watch today. Like, honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a last place team so fun to watch. Usually everyone's miserable when they're down there in the standings. Look at the Blackhawks. Like, the Sharks are having a great time. We're in last place, but these guys are getting their shit together as they should be. They're playing fast hockey. Like, every time I go long, it feels like I go long stretches without being able to catch games these days. But every time I'm able to catch a game, I'm like equally as impressed at how quickly they're processing the game, how fast they're skating, how fast they're passing, how fast they're able to connect, catch the puck, do something with it, shoot the puck off their stick right away and stuff. Graf being one of them. I can't remember what game it was that Celebrini did like a no-look pass to him and Graf caught that shot off really quickly and almost scored. That might have been against the Canes. That would have been a beautiful goal if it went in. That play, so cool. I can't remember specifically yesterday, but the one that you were talking about where Cagnoni passed it to Celebrini and then Eklund takes off and he's like booking it right towards the goal and he goes 5-hole on the goalie and it's just I don't know, man. It's so fun. Like everything that we were saying at the beginning of the season, how excited we are where this team is going, we're finally starting to see it. And it just makes me more stoked for next season.
Yeah, there are a lot of exciting guys coming up, and if I had more time in my week to catch CUDA games more often than I feel like I've been able to,
Mhm.
like I think I would be even more excited, but just seeing like the highlights from, or just like the stat updates from even guys who are not in the CUDA, that are still at their junior club, like just kind of keeping that in like focus, like in the passenger seat. And when they get called up, I mean, like another name that we saw get talked about was, Cam Lunn. He's been doing things, for his development, and the Sharks have signed him to his, entry level contract. I did see the other day that they are anticipating that he will be here for this season. So we're going to get him on the team and be able to see what he's doing. So that'll be really great. Just to kind of, the little things to get excited about. I mean, I know the season's whittling down here. I don't even know what how many games we have left.
A handful,
Maybe,
it feels like.
yeah, somewhere in the 60s, the low 60s, whatever. So trying to trying to take it all in, but knowing that, man, we're just going to be like waiting around over the off season for this like high to continue, because I just feel like we're going to see more and more exciting things from these guys. And then also, like last season, I was excited for the draft. I mean, I think we were both excited for the draft. We were also excited during, the off season, just like little bits of information that we could kind of like look forward to the season. And I think we're going to have more of that, but I think it's going to be even better, just because we kind of are building this foundation. Of course, starting with Will Smith and Celebrini, but now that you feel like those pillars are there, and we didn't really quite have that in the previous season, now we're going to be able to hopefully feel like we can establish a core. And really get these guys that are doing great things in their development all season, and having them move into into bigger roles in the AHL, potentially the NHL. And yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. And
Yeah.
hopefully we can get out of the cellar next season. So another thing that we saw, and then maybe you can speak a little more to this because you got to watch the game last night. Lucas Carlson, he's not a young guy by pro hockey standards, but he's been around the league for a minute, and he got his debut with the Sharks, and he did it in a big way last night.
Yeah, so I thought he played really well. I want to see if I can look up his stats real quick. He made himself known.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name?
Luca Carlson.
Luca or Lucas?
Luca. Lucas. Sorry. getting tags and Carlson mixed up.
Okay, so yeah, yesterday he had a goal and assist, 2 shots on goal, 1 hit, 1 block. He was playing really well. Most of that came, I want to say, in the third period. All the boys really stepped up, as all season we've been complaining that these guys don't know how to close out a game. They look really good until the third period. Yesterday, they finished a game. They played till the very end. They worked hard. Yeah, so third period, he scored a goal. I think, what was the score? 3-1?
3-1.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think both his goal and assist came in this period, because one of them was probably for like Goody's empty netter or something. Apparently he hadn't played in the NHL since 2022. Last season he suffered an ACL injury. And then he's been like rehabbing and doing all that. He said he had been very frustrated the past 10 months trying to rehab his knee from all of that. And this was such a good game for him to make his NHL debut after, well, debut is not the word, but his return to the NHL after so long. And like all the hard work that he put in. You could tell when he was interviewed by Drew at the end, he was so happy. It was such a wholesome moment for him. Very grateful. But he looked great out there. His goal, I wasn't expecting it. The boys got really close to scoring. I don't know how many times, and I'm watching this play, and I'm like, at the edge if I see it, like, just shoot the goal, just shoot the puck, or like, you are right there. And then I can't remember who shoots it. Maybe Eklund, Celebrini or Eklund. No. It was Smith shoots the puck. Gets a rebound. Carlson picks it up pretty quickly. Like, he's all alone right to the side by the face-off circle, and just backhands it in. And it's like, I can't believe that actually went into the goal. That's crazy. They actually got one, because I don't know how many times they had like an open net on was it Thursday, and they were just like a half step behind, and they just could not put it in. And today it went.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, last night it actually went in, and it was like, you could see how happy he was as soon as it went in, and he noticed, and he just throws his hands up like, oh my god, like, I did it.
I'm back.
Yeah, for real. And then he got an assist later on in the game with the empty netter. But yeah, dude, this was such a fun game to watch.
I want to point out that he is a former 2016 round 4 pick, 110 overall by the Chicago Blackhawks.
Hmm.
So he's Swedish, and he spent a couple of seasons in the Swedish Hockey League prior to coming over to the AHL in 2018, 2019. So he's been kind of like up and down with that roster. And we kind of know, I don't, I don't know off the top of my head, like at what point the Hawks were kind of on the downward spiral. We know that they kind of started their rebuild around the same time we did. So maybe it kind of lines up with they were still trying to keep in the mix. And, that's not a great environment for a player that's, maybe needing a little more of a environment to grow their game. Like if your focus is no, we got to make the playoffs. So if you're not ready to go, you're getting shoved back down. Like, we'll come back to you later. And so that's just my assumption, just kind of looking at like the timeline of his up and down from between the AHL and the NHL for the Blackhawks team. And then ultimately after a couple of seasons, he finds himself with the Panthers during the 21-22 season, which he actually spent about half the season with the Panthers. So, I mean, I can't think, I don't follow the Panthers terribly well. So it's not surprising if I say like, I don't really remember him, but, and he had 9 points. So, he stuck around for 40 games, and then spent about 8 games with the Charlotte Checkers. And the next season after that, he spent majority of his time in the AHL. And then, so this guy's just, without knowing terribly much outside of stats, it just looks like, the Hawks were just in a position where they're trying to stay in the mix. Not great for a young guy trying to break in and maybe isn't like a William Eklund or Celebrini type player. And then he moves on to the Florida Panthers, who, as we know, they won the cup last season. So again, if you're not grinding it out and making an instant name for yourself in a team that is trying to be very competitive, I feel like more times than not, you're just going to get sent down because that's just not the priority to keep you up here for your, for your career. So he finds himself here with our club with the Barracuda. He's played 44 games, had 23 points, and he gets rewarded with getting called up late in the season, makes this impact for the club. And so this is exciting for, Lucas, if he can, show the coaching staff, show Mike Greer that, he's 27. So as we say, it's around this time where you're kind of like in the prime of your career. And a lot of folks that are established and can make a difference on a playoff bound team, like a Granlund, like a Wallman, those were kind of those hard truths that we have to swallow, that, they're not really in our timeline. We get something out of it by sending them off to a playoff team. But someone like a Lucas Carlson, he benefits from being on a team like us, where you have a spot here to make a difference for this team. And there's opportunity for you to stick around. So we always love a good story like that. And whatever's cooking in Mike Greer's kitchen, I guess I'm wondering where does he see Lucas Carlson in this whole recipe? Because it would be great if we could give him the home that he's been searching for. Adopt this hockey player.
Yeah. I was curious to know how we ended up with him. If anyone else was, we signed him as a free agent last off season, so that's how he came to San Jose.
We went by the doctor. He looked at us with the little doe eyes.
Take me, please. I need a home. uh, yeah, so yesterday's game was real fun. I believe it was a sellout. I don't know if it was because it was a giveaway, because fans are finally catching on to how fun this team is to watch. Maybe a mix of both, but as we mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, Jay does have the flag on their background that they gave away yesterday, the Golden State Valkyries violet flag that also doubles as a cape. We were gifted these by Heather. Dang it, I forgot her last name. But she's the president of marketing for, is it Vaughn? Heather Vaughn. President of marketing for the Sharks, who is the one who invited us out to the Women of Teal Night. She mailed us a couple of these flags to get you guys to go to this game. So I took a look at mine, and it does have like these little slots in it on the back so that you could probably put like a string in there or something and then tie it like around your neck as a cape, which is why they call it a flag cape giveaway. But it's cool. It's a very nice purple. It has a little Sharks logo on the corner if you guys haven't seen it. And then it says Valkyries and San Jose Sharks. Oh no, Valkyries and Sharks Bay Area Unite on the other corner. So yeah, sold out game yesterday. Some of the Valkyrie players were in attendance, meeting some fans and whatever. And at the end of the game, Celebrini was asked about the crowd, like how into it the crowd was this game. And he said that after Gaudreau's empty net goal, it was probably the loudest that he's ever heard the arena, which is crazy to think about. But our dear friend Nate, who was here for opening night, commented on Shang's tweet and said, "Crowd pop during the home opener when he scored. When he scored has entered the chat. Was a really nice crowd though, bringing the tank back to life." I would have to agree because I was there, and I'm pretty sure that might have also been a sold out night because everyone was excited that Celebrini was coming in and finally having an exciting player to watch after so long. I was not there last night, so I can't tell you which one was louder, but it is nice to see that they're getting a taste of how fun this crowd and their fans can be when they're actually playing well.
Yeah, we talked a couple episodes ago when we were both at another game, I believe. Or maybe it was just me and I was commenting on... No, I think it was just me that went to this game. I can't remember which one it was, but I was talking about, we understand the situation that this team is in, and I understand that it can be not as exciting for some fans that just are more casual in terms of following the team. I know it's exciting to follow a winning team. It's something that you can get really behind. And I can definitely see when you're not really familiar with the team and you go to a game and there's nothing but your team sucking. Like it's harder to get engaged. But for us, we're following this other stuff that makes it exciting. We've been following as much as we can of the up and comings, the drafts, the signing, signings in off season. Like that's exciting for us to see. And then it's even the fact that we get to see the result of it just makes it even more exciting. And then the fact that this team, in terms of the vibes off and on the ice, the guys are really happy. They're goofing off. You really enjoy seeing the personality as a whole with the team. And then even after the trade deadline, they're still fighting hard and they're getting like these wins that, the game against like the Boston Bruins, granted, the Boston Bruins have not been doing terribly well this season, but they're still in a different situation than us,
Mhm.
like they just they're more like probably in a retool type of thing. And they didn't really anticipate that they would like be in this situation this season. But when you go against teams like that, and even with the Canes, like you highlighted earlier, there were so many chances during that game where it's just like, oh, if that player was like 3 or 6 inches to the left, their stick would have hit it. It was like the team was in it to the point where I could understand if someone's like, I don't want to go to this game against the Canes. They're probably just going to, get slapped around. But that wasn't the case. So if you were to have gone to that game, I think you would have found it to be really exciting despite the scoreboard being otherwise, right? And so going back to what I was talking about when the last game that I got to go to a couple of weeks ago, I think it was a giveaway. I think it was, I can't remember anymore. Too many games. But whatever the case was, the tank was fairly full. And actually it was the Women of Teal night. So we both we just weren't sitting with each other. But that game and then the one that I went to before, it was like they weren't necessarily winning, but there were a lot of great things happening on the ice. And then the crowd was engaged, like when the ref would call a penalty on someone and, the whole crowd goes, boo, like, yeah, we don't want the penalty to happen. And it's frustrating if we're like down a couple of goals and you don't want to take the penalty. But people were like, yeah, I'm having a great time. I'm with people, that are interested in this game versus the seasons before that. I think you're booing out of frustration that you're like, God, like I want to see something exciting and not doing it in a way where you're just trying to like engage and have a great time. So it definitely is like a different experience all around. And yeah, so I'm excited even though we're down here 32nd. I like words, as I'm trying to express, words cannot convey that despite how like Randy, was it Randy who said that we're like the most exciting last place team? Yeah. Like who would have thought we would be this exciting being down here and going nowhere in terms of the playoffs?
We're having a party down here in the cellar, We're having a great time. Who needs wins?
It is great vibes down here. If you're jealous, you should be jealous.
Absolutely.
Damn right you're jealous.
Everyone wants to be us. Last place. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take a moment we're gonna take a moment to talk about our sponsor. Let me pull this up. It's a long-winded one. This NHL season has been as predictable as a puck rolling on its edge. No one knows where it's going, but that just means there's time for your favorite team to figure things out, and games left for you to get in the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. And if you are new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming sources, see dkng.co/audio. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. NHL and NHL team marks are the property of the NHL and its teams. What is that? Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved. Done. Did it. Oh snap! That's okay. I forgot to pull up the money puck line, but y'all can do that. Go do that.
You all have the app by now. We've been talking about it, so go take a look at what's going on for Monday and for the rest of the week, and use the promo code THPN.
Right. And if you forget, it's on our little screen here. Wait. I don't know which way to point. This way. Yeah. Over there. Okay, so I think that pretty much wraps up our little Sharks talk. Still on the topic of hockey, wanted to bring up how great the PWHL is looking right now. Dang it, did we talk about this last week? About the attendance? We did, right? How they broke the attendance? Sure. Dang, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure we did, but they are breaking records left and right with how many people are attending their games. They reached 1 million fans, and they were celebrating that. Was it the game in Detroit? It was the Sirens versus the Frost, I want to say. I did watch that game. I had time. I caught a little bit of it, and they looked real fun, dude. I am loving the Sirens team. Like, even though they're not doing so well in their standings, they're looking hot. Speaking of our favorite, mostly your favorite, Abby Roque, a Michigan native, has completed the first Michigan goal in PWHL history. And it is sweet. If you guys can find a highlight of that, if y'all haven't seen it already, it is flawless.
She's so rad.
So rad. What year are you from?
Showing my age. I'm still using the hell out of rad. I don't know about this Gen C slang or Gen Z, this Gen Z slang, but I don't know what you all are talking about. But rad is
as the younger folks would say, she ate.
God. Yes, I will be eating later. Thank you for checking in on me.
Anyways, this is a sick goal. This team is doing, well, like I said, they're not doing so hot in the standings, but they are fun to watch. I don't know a lot of players by name, so I can't be like, oh my god, this is my favorite player and she looked great. Except for Roque.
Yeah.
I saw someone commented, wait, where is it? Do you know the song Rock Steady by Megan Thee Stallion?
Maybe if I heard it. I'm not too good with titles.
Some comment in here. I saw someone saying rock steady, but obviously spelled out like her name.
Mm-hmm.
People are silly. No, it's a good song. You should listen to it. I don't know if it's your cup of tea, but it is a good song.
If it has a good beat, usually like I tend to gravitate towards, yeah. Lyrics, on the other hand, like, I don't know, maybe some days I know I should probably pay a little more attention to lyrics.
Oh my god. Speaking of lyrics and songs, did you see what Hockey Night of Canada decided to choose as their song?
I saw people commenting about it, and I got the cliff notes of it. I didn't actually like absorb the content.
Sure. So if y'all don't know, I'm sure y'all know, you guys, we're a queer hockey podcast. Y'all
listen, if you're
fans,
if you don't know, that's why you come to this podcast. We're here to educate.
Wait, I want to find the lyrics, so because I need to find these lyrics for y'all. If you haven't looked,
but I mean, we already know that the NHL is a massive struggle bus. But okay, not to get off topic. As much as the NHL is a massive struggle bus, have you been following the I can't even think of the word, like just the God, I can't think of it. Anyways, the Major League Baseball, MLB, has been doing far worse in terms of being able to understand the content that they put out there.
Mhm.
Because like the hats that they've been putting out, like, I mean, we haven't really talked about it because, you know, we try to stick to hockey for
Oh my
most of this.
god, yes.
Yeah. So they had a line of hats that objectively, from a design perspective, I want to know, how does one get this position? Because if these designs, this would never, like, I can't even comprehend how this line of
They're so ugly.
merch made it through a creative director's like table. Like, who and how do I get that position?
Just to be clear, you're talking about the one that looks like they copy and pasted the logos, right?
They
Or like
pretty much thought this would be so awesome if we put the name of the team, of like the city, and then put the logo on top for every one of them. And we didn't
right,
consider how that reads, and we didn't
like the
consider how
A's.
that looks like just ugly in itself. I wanted to send it to a friend who doesn't even follow sports and be like, do you even know what this team name is? Like, it just seems like one of those situations where if you're in on the joke, it's hilarious, right? If you know the teams, it might be in like, that's such a cool design. But the way that design at its most basic level should be done is you want it to be understandable to everybody. And how are you supposed to know that like a team, that's a logo for a team, and then the name is like the city behind it? Like, if you look at it, you wouldn't understand. And this is like, trying not to go off on a tangent here, but like,
It's
just
too late.
someone like from the concept of it to whoever gets to approve it, how many stages does that get to go to actually putting the design on actual print and then put it out on to for people to buy? And so
Right.
so all of this to say, if you don't know what the hell we're talking about, go look. I'm sure Twitter can help you out. Just like put like MLB like dumpster fire or something, and you will see these designs that they're just awful. And some of them read a certain way, and those merchandise before they got pulled were bought,
I'm
and
sorry.
now
Am I
people are
show this on the podcast? Would I be allowed to?
I mean,
Someone
it's an official design. They
okay,
put it out there.
let me see if I can share my screen real quick. Just so you guys can see what we're talking about. It is so funny. So there's a
It
couple
just like,
so
I
the
saw
one
I saw somebody in regards to the Anaheim Angels. Somebody tweeted out that the Angels are flying a little too close to the sun. You make that A logo any bigger.
right. Okay, so you got like for Boston, big ol' B, it looks like it says Bobon or Bobon. I don't know. The Nationals looks like it says not not walls. My favorite one is the Texas Rangers one because in Spanish, if y'all didn't know, this
That
means
one sold
tit.
out, just so you know. That
As
design
it
sold
should,
out.
because you just have a hat that says tit. Oh my god, when
And
I
there
saw
was
that, I was like,
another
how?
design months back that was along the same vibe, and the one for the Oakland A's
Yes,
was
that said
making
like
all the
ass.
headlines. Yeah, yeah. Like, who got this job, and can I have it? Cuz it apparently requires zero like design, that should be celebrated.
Oh,
Because
so good.
or you know would be actually I would commend is that this is somebody that was just like so pissed off. Maybe they were like getting lowballed on price and whatever, and they were just like, "This is my mic drop. I'm going to sell this design," and some idiot who is a creative director who shouldn't be in that position in the first place pushed it along. But all that to say, I don't even know what the fuck we were supposed to talk about just this moment, but I went off on this tangent. And
Yeah.
recently, over the weekend, and see, this is kind of why I still keep my Twitter despite, everything that's going on these days and
Right.
the ads that find its way on my feed that I'm just like, why am I still here? The other day, the Orioles double A team created an alternate design that they're called, I have to look it up. They're called the Chesapeake Bay Sox. That's the name of the team. And I guess I don't know the history in terms of why this was done, but they made an alternate. I think they were like celebrating some history related to, I think it's related to a bird that's name is oyster catchers. And there was an alternate design that was created. There's one for like I think the main one. And then there was an alternate where I don't know where it was going to go on the jersey, but this found its way onto like official merchandise apparently, or their official page, to which they ended up taking down later in the day. Here, I'll put it in our Trello so you can see if you didn't get to see it earlier this week. So the alternate name is Chesapeake Oyster Catchers, but the alternate logo is a orange catcher's mitt. It has an oyster in the middle where like I guess the webbing would be for the mitt, and then there's a ball in the middle of the oyster to I guess would be like they're trying to like they're catching an oyster. If you know what anatomy looks like on an AFAB body, I just don't understand, man. Like, so I remember now what we were talking about. We were talking about the NHL just failing at stuff, and I went on this massive tangent about you think the NHL is failing.
You're not the only ones. Okay,
Major League Baseball and pro baseball is just face planting right now because this is the trifecta. I think this has only been within the last year.
Okay.
But I will say that this team, after like whoever needed, I feel like someone must have known and they were like, well, it's my job. I have to put this up. So here we go. Dumpster fire. At some point they realized like, oh crap, it actually looks like this other thing too. And they pulled it only for them to come back and lean into it. And then they said that I think 10% of their proceeds they were donating it to for Women's History Month and whatever. They leaned into it. They're like, we see that people have pointed out to us that it looks like something else other than an oyster. So kudos to you, Chesapeake Bay Sox, for leaning into your mistake.
Direct this conversation back to where we started. Whereas here on Over the Glass, we know that hockey is gay. Even though they don't know it, we know it. Well, the NHL doesn't know it, but we know it. Or maybe they do, and that's why they try so. Anyways.
No, they really don't.
I understand.
They're very straight.
For Hockey Night of Canada, every year they choose a song to like get the fans pumped that this night is coming around. The Canadian hockey teams are playing Saturday night, blah blah blah. So this week they released their hype video and they chose "The Giver" by Chapel Roan, And if you guys haven't heard this song yet, because it is a new song that she released within the last couple of weeks, it is country. This girl is from like either Tennessee or Missouri. I don't know. I don't know. She's so from over there somewhere where they like country. Yes, usually she does like pop music, whatever. But this one is very like poppy, but very country. And I'm going to read to you a little bit of these lyrics. So the chorus, actually, no, let's go with the second verse. It says, "Girl, I don't need no lifted truck, revving loud to pick you up, 'cause how I look is how I touch. And in this strip mall town of dreams, good luck finding a man who has the means to rhinestone cowgirl all night long. So, baby, if you never had one, call me baby, yeah." And the chorus goes, "'Cause you ain't gotta tell me, it's just in my nature. So take it like a taker, 'cause baby, I'm a giver. Ain't no need to hurry, 'cause baby, I deliver. Ain't no country boy quitter. I get the job done. I get the job done." If you guys didn't know what this song was about, it is not for the straights. That's all I'm gonna say.
I want to know what the straights think.
Huh?
I want to know what the straights think. Because, you know, unless there was some queer person who was like, oh, I'm going to do the insider job on here and I'm going to suggest this this song. If that's not the case, I want to know who chose this song and what they thought. What did you think? Were you just like, this is a sick beat? This is honestly, what we need?
They made a very good edit to the song. I was almost hyped. If I liked country music, I'm like on the fence about this because I do like Chapel, but it's country. I can't really enjoy country music too much. It's not my thing. But the hype video was fun. I was listening to the lyrics while they're I don't know, man. It's just a very entertaining thing to watch. Do yourself a favor and go look that up if you have not watched it yet.
Good job, NHL.
Good job. Great. Speaking of the gays, did we talk about this?
No, I just remembered that we were talking about the PWHL, and I had noticed that they were celebrating gayness lately, and so I thought let's highlight what they've been doing.
Their fantastic logo. I love this. If you guys haven't seen the logo that they have for their Pride to celebrate in the PWHL, I believe they decided to use the original Pride rainbow, where it has the pink at the top and then it goes from like the blue, violet, and then a lighter purple, like a lavender, which is supposed to be, if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be like the most inclusive thing to include everyone before everyone got their own flags and everyone's trying to shove all those flags on one flag. Which, listen, I have said this before, design-wise, what is it called? The inclusivity gay flag? Not for me, design-wise. Love what it stands for. I like this better. It's simple. It says what it needs to. But focusing on the actual logo. Oh, should I share? Oh, I love sharing screen. It's so fun. Share. Okay. Look at this guy. Wait, let me zoom in here a little bit. Ignore the cookies. Ugh. Okay, if you guys haven't seen it, the W thing that they do with the PWHL logo with the hockey sticks, they decided to do the side part as like pockets. One of them with like lavender. I don't know what kind of flowers those are. I don't have the graphic pulled up.
Well, if you scroll down all the way, there'll be an explanation.
Oh, is it on here?
Yeah.
Oh, snap! That's perfect. Blessed. Okay, lavender flowers. The gays love lavender. Okay, I'll just read this for y'all, for those of you listening. So, There's a black and brown hockey stick inspired by the Progress Pride flag. Oh, that's what it's called. Progress Pride flag. These colors honor queer and trans people of color and those affected by HIV/AIDS. They serve as a reminder that true liberation is collective. No one is free until all are. Love that. The other hockey stick is breaking chains, a symbol of defying societal norms and breaking free from the imposed limitations. It represents the ongoing fight for equality, the rejection of binaries, and the strength of those who continue to challenge the status quo. Kind of like what we're doing here with Over the Glass. Buttons and carabiner. Absolutely love this detail. Nothing says gay like a carabiner. Emblems of personal identity and expression, whether through vibrant flags or subtle signals, the ability to outwardly express one's truth is a powerful act of pride. The lavender flower is a tribute to the historical connection between queerness and the color lavender. The flowers symbolize the natural inherent beauty of LGBTQ plus identities, growing freely, deserving of care, and flourishing in an environment of acceptance. And this little detail, I think, might be my favorite, just because they were able to sneak this in a very perfect way. The puck in the original logo, they turned into a brick, which is a nod to the Stonewall riots and the fearless activists who paved the way for LGBTQ plus rights. It serves as a reminder that pride is rooted in protest and the fight for inclusion, safety, and equality continues. So this is probably my most favorite pride logo in all of hockey. There's a lot of thought put into this.
Yeah, and I just want to make mention that when we were starting our journey on this podcast and we were coming up with our logo, I remember really early on we decided not to incorporate any
rainbow.
Right, yeah, any rainbow. And it wasn't for anything like, we were trying to find like the next level of like how to be representative and whatever. It was nothing like we were trying to go against the grain and not incorporate pride into it, whatever. I think ultimately we found it challenging to do it in a way where we wanted our logo to just not be like, yeah, it's just we're just kind of talk about gay stuff. Like I think all that to kind of say that I love when you can incorporate pride into a logo where it doesn't feel like that is the like you're using that as the foundation and then you're trying to build on top of it. I think that's what we were trying to stay away from. We didn't want to have the rainbow part of it as the center and try to find how we wanted our logo, the identity we wanted our logo to have. I think we found that most challenging, so we just kind of decided to not have it at all. But the way that artists like Eli found a way to obviously have the theme of pride in it without it feeling like it's leaning on the rainbows, that everything has to be designed around it. It just, everything feels like it has a place on this logo. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't feel like, oh, we got to make sure we put the lavender flowers on there. Oh, we got to make sure, like you're not trying to, fill in the holes to make sure the foundation is steady. Just everything feels like that makes sense.
Yeah.
Of course that's there. And it just feels so solid and it's just gorgeous. Yeah. And I think, probably the brick is, everything is like, okay, lavenders, that kind of, flowers in general just kind of have a different tone and meaning, like, when like a different event, you work in a flower shop, I'm sure you're kind of taught to lean people in a certain direction for certain events. And so if I weren't familiar with flowers and the lavender color, that would probably be like the first thing where I'm just like, oh, I wonder why that's significant. And then, the sticks. Yeah, of course. hockey, but the way that you kind of incorporate these different things that you already broke down in the logo, like the chain aspect of it, and then the representation with the black and brown hockey stick, and then like the different badges or pins and things on the other side of it, like those feel like they're very like they take up, like they radiate off of the logo, but the brick is just so subtle, and I kind of love that, because, and especially because it's down at the bottom, which, like I said, everything kind of feels like it's got a place and holds weight in a way where it's not like, it wasn't just put there for the sake of we need to fill in the hole, but almost like the brick, the placement of it to me is almost like that is the foundation. Like they always talk about like how, you know, the first Pride was a protest. And so you just kind of build off of this, and it doesn't, and it's not like Eli didn't go out of, I don't know what the pronouns are. Well, Eli didn't go out of Eli's way to like, you know, make sure everyone sees the significance of this brick. It's just there, and we understand its significance.
Yeah. I was trying to
It's
see
very powerful significance. We always got to
No.
go back and understand the history.
You know what I didn't check is that they're actually selling shirts with this, and I want one. $30 US. You know, I might snag one.
Oh, they have a whole video of Eli. Love that. You scroll down further. Anyways, we're looking at the PWHL.com. I'm sure if you search PWHL Pride, you'll see all this stuff that we're taking a look at. Just well done, PWHL. Just a gorgeous, just overview of the whole design and the history. Like, it is so fun.
It sure is. Okay, last thing ish that I wanted to touch on is how, well, I guess you could talk about Bay FC for a bit. We wanted to highlight a little bit of how great Bay Area sports is doing this episode. We've already talked about the Sharks. Our guys doing great things besides winning. Bay FC was it their home opener yesterday or no?
Yep.
Home opener yesterday. Got a win. I believe the score was 2-0. They shout out against Louisville.
Yep.
Nice. I'm just trying to remember all this because I didn't keep track of the game at all. Okay, what I did see was a highlight for the second goal by don't tell me. Carly Lima. What a beauty of a goal.
Carly Lima, rookie in the league, native of the Bay Area, went to Cal. We signed her in the offseason. She has definitely been making a name for herself in this squad. Like, if you've been following it all, Bay FC, you know, last season was their inaugural. It's for me, I've never been in a situation where we've gotten a brand new team and we've gotten to see like at this level. I mean, when I started following the Sharks, they were already kind of like 5 or 6 seasons into it. And I think even if I were following them that early, I wouldn't have really been able to grasp the reality of it. But I've been waiting for a women's pro soccer team forever. And the moment they touched down here, I was like, I'm going to all these games. And last season was a bit of a journey because we had to pull up that roster from scratch. And I have never really followed the NWSL to any level related to how we talk about the Sharks on this podcast. Like, I follow it, but more times than not, I'm like, what's happening? I want to be excited too. What's happening here? And so, you know, last season was like, okay, I'm just excited to be rooting for a team. Whatever comes will come. And they managed to make their way into the playoffs. They got knocked out in the first round, but you know what? It was exciting. It was just exciting. First of everything. And then they had an overhaul of an off season, and I didn't really know what to make of it because I'm like, is this good? Like we let go of our so they've abolished their draft, so we didn't have a draft this off season. But before that, BFC had 2 early drafts. And we did not keep those players. So part of me was like, someone explain this in hockey terms for me. I don't get it. Like, like, is this normal? And then there were another players that retired. Our goalkeeper retired. A number of other veteran players, they retired. So, and then we moved like Dana. She's playing Portland Thorns now, and she was someone that I was hoping would stick around. But I guess in terms of how much we were paying her, she didn't really like pan out the way that we wanted her to. And so there's just like a lot of moves being made. And I was just very like, someone explain to me what's happening so I can be sad or excited. I don't know how to feel. All I know is, their season started a week ago. They went up against the Utah team. What the hell is their name? That Utah team. They went against the Utah team, who also had their inaugural season last season. They did not do that great, and we tied. And the one goal for Bay was off of Kiki Pickett's leg, and she is my favorite because short queen. And she had a rocket. There was some scramble in front of like the goal area, and it popped out to her, and she just like went right into it and kicked it with her left leg, and it just rocket past the goal keep. And she is just so strong on the pitch that every time she does stuff, like even during the game yesterday, every time she did stuff, I'm like, yeah, you go, Kiki. Because she's a tiny person. Right. She's around our height. So when she does stuff out there, I'm like, yes, you do that. She is fearless. And when she does stuff, I'm like, I am so proud of her. So anyways, that was a great start for us last week. And trying to get familiar with all these new faces on the team. And then, of course, the homeowner is always great because we're back, in the we're back in the arena. We're excited for to watch the team in person. And they were just so strong all game. Like, last season, I mean, you're more familiar with the game of soccer than I am. And you were always talking about like, oh, they're really terrible in defense and, all this stuff. And I'm just like, I'm just here for the vibes and the excitement. I don't actually know like what I should be looking at. Like, I think I'm getting closer, but still nowhere near like hockey.
You're going to be better at picking this up than me because you're going to be going to more games.
I think I'm just going to be better as far as like following like the team and like knowing more about like, who to be excited about. But like with everyone we picked up, and I'm just like, who is this? Like, I'm excited to know who this is because I have no idea. But yeah, last night they were just so strong on the pitch. I think they spent like probably 80% of the time like on the attack. You could tell that even though the roster has been made a lot of changes, the core folks are still intact. They made a lot of moves even during the season last year to fill in the holes in defense. They have a stronger back end. I feel like they just really worked, kind of like the Sharks. They saw the things that didn't work out last season, and they're a newer team, just like how the Sharks are rebuilding, having to kind of look at similar things. And they just came out and looked really strong. And I don't know a whole lot about Racing Louisville, but I think they were kind of around around us in the standings, and I think they ended up not getting in, or maybe they got into like the 8th or 7th spot or whatever. So that's so when going into the game, I'm like, okay, so maybe this will be like a good game to kind of see where Bay is at. And the fact that they were, not biased in this at all, saying it, they just looked like they were the stronger team out there, and the goals that they did get were very like they meant to do that. It wasn't like, and we love goals that are kind of, even in hockey where you're just like, yeah, you love the sniper goals, but the goals that you just clean up the garbage in front of within the crease, those are great too. Cause we don't, at the end of the day, we just want the goals to happen. Right. And however they happen, we'll take them. But last night, those 2 goals were very, yeah, the team was like, yeah, we meant to do that. And the way that they set it up, like they meant to do that. And the new kicker for the corner that used to be Dana, and I swear I couldn't see because all the corners were like far away. I couldn't see the name on the jersey, but whoever it was has just like a wicked curve to their kick. It made it so much more exciting than what I remembered the corner kicks from last season. I'm like, we don't know what we're doing with that. That didn't feel like anything. Like it was like, oh great, another corner, kind of like with the Sharks, where it's like, oh great, we're going on the power play. We don't know what to do with that. But that's how I felt last season with Bay. Anytime we got a corner, I'm like, at like the Olympic level or the national level, when you get a corner, you're just like, yes, this is our, we got the advantage with this. And like, when like Megan Rapinoe was the corner kicker for the US for years, she was just like, even for like Seattle Reign, when she was the corner kicker for them, like it was like 99% certain it was going to be a goal. And last season with Bay, I'm like, it's 1% this is going to be a goal. There's nothing to be excited about for the corner. And there were a lot of great opportunities for them last night. And then also, like, I think what they have been working on is like being a tougher team to go against, because we got like 3 yellow cards last night.
Jeez.
And they looked justified. They're like, okay. But the first one, I was like, okay, we'll see how you play out this rest of the game. And I think there was maybe one where I'm like, really? Really, we're giving a yellow for that? Because then for the second half, there were a couple of questionable plays from Louisville, and the ref did not give a yellow. And like the entire like crowd was like, where's the yellow? Hello, and they finally got issued one, which was very justified. But yeah, it was a very it was a very proud moment for this team to open up with. I mean, last season with the home opener, I mean, of course, first game ever for the team. You're just happy to be there. You're just happy to like see this team in person. They didn't win, but they had moments and they got goals, but they were just the chemistry was not there at all. They just were like, I've seen you a whole 2 days and now we have to work together on this field. And to come from that to how they progressed last season to where they are now, like this is an exciting team in terms of now we could actually look towards winning versus I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to try harder to keep up with that team, but it's still in San Jose. It's hard to get out to those games. In other how do I make this transition? Same topic, different team. Soccer. It's nice to see Bay FC is doing really well. Home opener. The Oakland Roots also had their home opener last night at the Coliseum in Oakland, which is a big deal because while they are a professional men's soccer team, they're not part of the MLS, which is the NHL of soccer. they're the USHL, which I believe is similar to the AHL. I want to say they're like second tier, right? So
The
still a
USL.
professional. Yeah,
You said the
what did
USHL.
no, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Whatever. USL. USL. There's no hockey. Soccer league. Yeah, so they had their home opener against San Antonio last night. I wanted to bring this up because while they didn't sell out the entire stadium, because I don't think they even had the very top tier.
That'd be a lot to fill.
Right. They did. Okay, so here I found this tweet. The USL Championship is let me credit William Hodges at William_Hodges on Twitter. Talked about the USL, my God, championship. That's the name of the league. And it mentioned 4 teams. Sac Republic up in Sacramento had nearly 10,000 fans in attendance. New Mexico UTD had 11,000. Lou City, which is Louisville, had 10,000. But the Roots, because they played in the Coliseum, had almost 27,000 fans attend last night. And one of my friends went. Yeah. One of my friends went, so he was like showing me pictures and like he recorded those short videos. He showed me like how many fans were there. I've seen videos come up on Twitter and stuff. Fans are having a great time. They're excited to have a team to cheer for because they've lost all of their sports in Oakland. All they have now is the Oakland Roots and the Oakland Soul, who is the women's team equivalent. Yeah, I don't know. Like, the Bay is looking real good when it's coming to these sports. While the Roots didn't get a win like Bay FC did, it sounds like they still had a pretty decent game. They lost 2-1. But like, yeah, it's looking fun. I'm excited for where sports is going.
To also put a bit more perspective, the Oakland Coliseum fits 63,000, and the PayPal Park where Bay plays seats about 18,000. So it's crazy that you said 26.
So the total number was 26,575.
Yeah,
people
so good.
want
10,000 more people in attendance than what is already like amazing to see for Bay FC. Like, people are wanting soccer in this area.
Absolutely. And I think it speaks volumes also. I don't think the Earthquakes get that kind of support because if y'all didn't know, the same guy who owns the A's also owns the Earthquakes. People aren't very happy with the way he runs his teams because he's just in it for the money, right? So he doesn't deserve this kind of support anyway. But yeah, so the Oakland Roots I'm reading another tweet. So Oakland Roots first game at the Coliseum attracted a sold-out crowd of 26,575, the second biggest in USL Championship history. The city put through so much unfair sporting agony, showed out, and was treated to a banger for Roots' first Coliseum goal. Which, hold on, I have this pulled up for anyone who actually follows the team. Goal scored by Rasmussen. I don't know who that is, but good for them. They did it. Yeah. We did it. The Bay's looking great right now.
And also to highlight another win, the Barracuda also won 8-6 over Bakersfield Condors on Saturday. So there are a lot of great vibes happening in this bay. Like I'm kind of happy for people with how, it's expensive to live out here, and
Mhm.
but we do pay the premium because it's just there's a lot happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm also very excited for the Valkyries to start. I believe they start in a
May.
little over a month.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
Yep. I'm gonna have to figure out how to what do I need to do to watch the games on TV?
Right.
Because hockey's making it a little more difficult for me lately, so I have to reconsider that. Um, but yeah, I want to support these teams, and I need to figure out how to do that.
Without going bankrupt, my God.
Yeah, make this easier for me without making me pay so much money for it. Can only do so much. I'm already giving Bay all my money, so
You have more Bay merch than I do. I don't think I have anything.
I have this. I have another sweater. I was considering getting they came out with a couple more jackets in this off season, and I was like, oh, I mostly was unsure about getting a jacket just because usually I'm like wearing this stuff to games, but a lot of these games are during the summer, and I'm like, I'm not really gonna want to be wearing a jacket. So I held off on that, but then I thought like maybe I do want a jacket, but apparently everyone else is tiny, like me, like you, that the extra small is sold out. So
I like a looser fit. I like I'll wear a medium for the comfort.
I don't know if a medium would fit you or fit you in the way that you would be okay with, because last season I tried on one of the jackets that they had, and I tried on a small, and it was like under my butt. And I'm
That's funny.
like, I don't think I want to spend so much money on a piece of apparel that's gonna fit on me like that. So, but anyways,
Yeah, that's pretty much what we have for today. Um, yeah, I've been your host, Ness. Catch us next
and
week.
I am Jay.
Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.